Hey guys, welcome back. We got something cool to show you today. In fact, we've got a couple surprises. So let's go in here in the barn cave and let's go see what's going on. Hey, funny to see you here. It's funny, sometimes I come in here and he's just like in here working on a car. Oh yeah, so twofold. Number one, we got another Shelby. No, it does not have yellow rings around the lights. That just happens to be Ian's tape. But come meet Ian. Ian is the man, and I'm gonna explain why in a second. Ian, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Ian forgot his tuxedo at home. He generally details in a tuxedo or a bunny suit. That's why we have him. Yeah.
Wiping on the car, sir.
Ian, I've known for a long time, almost since I moved to Charlotte. And first of all, he's an awesome guy. Second of all, no one else does what he does the way he does with so much passion and detail. The paint correcting he does, I've never seen anything like it. And the ceramic coats, man, I don't even have to use my windshield wipers. It's crazy. So you're doing a good job. No.
Thank you, buddy.
No, seriously, I've used him for paint correction and ceramic coat on every single car I've ever bought. I've never had an issue. He's shown me things in paint on my cars that I didn't even know were possible. And these are cars from the factory.
From the factory. Sometimes I've shown you good things and sometimes I've shown you bad things.
Sometimes he's showed me things that have pissed me off that I've pissed other people off in telling them how shitty of a job they did. And
I need to learn when to just stay quiet.
literally, I got a text from you today. I was like, oh shit, what else is wrong? It's not even on this car. But
Same car.
yeah, same that car. Cool. So Ian, take the stage.
Hey, what's going on? I always get a pleasure out of working on Vinny's cars. It's always something different, always a new flavor. And it's often, which is great, because I get to try out new techniques, new products, new pads, machines, and it's never the same thing twice with this guy.
And I'm always trying to save my marriage because I buy so many cars. I think my wife's just accepted it now.
Probably, and I think, what do we pay for each coating? 50 bucks, 75 bucks, I think is what we pay.
Yeah, he gives me a discount. He does it for like $74.
74
generally.
Because of the Groupon. He uses a Groupon. But yeah, nonetheless, I always get excited to come up here for sure. One, it's Vinny. Two, it's air conditioned. I mean, this garage is paradise. I just bring my stuff and have fun. I don't work, I just have fun.
I love it. I love it. And he can stay here and be as loud as he wants and be as late as he
Till
wants.
midnight, often.
Yeah, he does actually, no joke. No joke.
Gotta stay till the work is done.
So how Ian works is he does supercars, does classic cars. You do everything for street side classics.
Yes.
Which is huge in Concord.
Yep.
But a lot of the guys around here trust him to do, and it's very specific. He does paint correct and ceramic. That's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
Don't call him for a detail. We don't do that to Ian. It's not where anyway.
I do car show prep.
You do car show prep too,
and
yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
It's just where the business has evolved. I haven't asked for it to go that direction.
Right.
But that's where it's taken me, so
Yep.
I'm enjoying it.
And you do a phenomenal job, and you're booked out like crazy.
30 to 60 days.
Yeah, at least. How it works is you hit up Ian, he gets you on his schedule. It's a 2-day process. Generally the first day is like for a day and a half really.
Yeah,
is
day
paint
and a half,
correcting.
paint correction.
I mean,
Yep.
he literally goes that deep. And then, because you do what, like tell him a little bit about, it's like a 3-stage paint correction?
Yeah, so single stage, 2-stage, or 3-stage. I also get into color sanding, so I have a full array of sandpapers that if we have a deep scratch, I can go and sand through the scratch, and then a multi-stage polish after that to get the perfection. Because the car's got to be as perfect as humanly possible before I ceramic coat it.
Right.
Once the car is coated, whatever I left behind, whether I wanted to or not, is currently locked in for the duration of the coating. So whatever it takes. Sometimes it's single stage, sometimes it's 3-stage.
I feel like I should be like sitting Indian style right here. I feel like that's how we're shooting this video right now.
It's crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, what's so cool about his ceramic coatings too is we did the tape test.
The tape test.
And I've had a lot of people do ceramic coats on cars in the past, but literally he put a piece of blue tape on one of my cars. It was the Grand Sport.
Yeah.
And it like blew right off.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Even decals, racing decals don't stick.
Yeah, so I was a little concerned about that on the GT and stuff because we're gonna do a rally in that car, but normal use all the time, it's nothing beats it. It's amazing.
I put a prototype ceramic on this car 2 weekends ago.
Okay. For the race event in
Atlanta.
Yep.
Just to keep it safe in case it was going to rain. And I didn't realize that the tape test works on the water-based spray ceramic that we're developing.
Oh, no.
So I'm now cutting through the first ceramic that I put on to protect it from the weather. and now I'm going to be reapplying the 5-year coating. So it's pretty
amazing.
cool. Yeah, it works well.
Hey, so we kind of jumped the gun. We came in, I was so excited to see Ian, we forgot to tell you what the heck this is, because you haven't seen this before, unless you're on Instagram. And again, he's got it taped off, which is really, really cool for what he's doing. So this is one of the cars. I've got three more cars coming that you're gonna love on this channel. This was not one of them. I had a carbon flash, which is like a black color with anthracite stripe, Cobra Mark IIIR. This is built by a company called Superformance, same that does the GT40. The Mark IIIR though is more of an updated, kind of their pro touring, I guess you could call it, version of the Cobra. And you can see it's got the bigger 18-inch wheels. It has aero. It actually has aero behind the wheels here. You can see it's got some ducting there. It's got a rear diffuser on it. And if you notice, there's something really special about this car, and this was actually a car spec'd by Dan at Downforce Motorsports. He owns a dealership in South Carolina. It's the first Mark IIIR ever built as a roadster, and what you notice is there's no giant side pipes, and I actually really like that because I have a scar, and you actually have a scar from one of my cars to prove that those are a hazard. So for me, having 2 young kids and my wife, and not wanting to get them to get burned, now you can see there's no risk of that, which is pretty cool. Also, I think because of the aero on the car, not having the side pipes actually makes it look way cooler. I enjoy it. Now there's something else very specific about this car that Dan also spec'd, which I think you guys are gonna be excited about. My understanding is it's also the first car ever built with a 5.2 Coyote Illuminator motor out of the new Mustang GT350, which is the same motor as I have in my GT40. So pretty neat to have both. Other than that, the color on this car is just spectacular. I actually went down to South Carolina last week to Dan's shop, gonna go hang out for the day, handle some business, and literally that was my reaction. I saw this car, he walked me around his showroom. I go, hey, I've got mine coming. You want to just swap, keep this around? And he was all about it. So this is now in the collection. A lot of you through my Instagram have been asking for a blue car. When's the blue car coming? So that also was in my mind. Now we have a blue car, adding some more color. I have driven this car multiple times since I got it. It is a bat out of hell. The thing I really like about this motor is it doesn't have as much low-end torque as the standard 427 or other motors they put in this car. It definitely still has it. It kicks it in your back of your seat, but it's really controllable. And then you can rev this up to 8,200 RPMs. It's insane. And the car is so planted and smooth, you really don't know how fast you're going. It's probably actually, believe it or not, more than any of my other cars, the one that I could probably get in the most trouble in because I really can't tell how fast I'm going. Ian, was that your experience? You drove it on a track.
That was my experience, yeah. It just creeps up on you. You look down and you're just like, wow, I didn't realize I was doing that.
He was in Road Atlanta a week ago or so. That's what we were talking about.
For the Midi.
And you got to do laps by yourself with Dan and his GT40, right?
Yeah,
the whole track to your guys' self?
Yep, it was intense.
Intimidating?
It was intense. A lot of blind corners on that track.
Yeah.
It was pretty scary. In an open roof car with no roll bar and no helmet.
That you're not used to driving.
That I'm not used to driving. Yeah, so my life insurance agent is not supposed to see this video.
Hey, you survived though, so it's all good. Yeah, that's good to hear from your experience, your impressions on the car and how it actually drives too.
Incredible, it's a monster for sure.
Yeah, and I feel honored that he actually drove this car before I owned it. I seriously do, I love this guy. So it's like, it's pretty cool, it's pretty cool that I like history and stories behind cars, so we're kind of creating a story. Yeah. And this car was built by Dennis Olthoff.
The king.
The king of these cars. And if you don't know who Dennis Olthoff is, he owns Olthoff Racing. His father was in the pits at Le Mans when they actually won the races with the GT40s, and he was brought up in that culture. And Dennis himself is actually kind of a race legend in a very secret way.
Race car drivers in South Africa.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And then Dennis, we won't go too far down the line with Dennis. You're going to see Dennis later. Actually, convinced him he's going to come on camera.
Oh, awesome.
That's future. You get a beer in that guy though, and he tells the best stories.
The best stories.
So Dennis's shop is in the middle of nowhere. I can't tell you where, but it's like farmland. Holy crap! Why are there GT40s parked outside of this place? Yeah. People ship their cars all over the world to Dennis. But Dennis told me a story of this race he does, and I'm not going to butcher it. We'll get him to tell it later, but he did this race that involved like Lamborghinis and all sorts of stuff. It's like over a week, and you start at one racetrack and you race, and then you drive to the next racetrack. It's like 7 different states.
That was the steakhouse night.
That was the steakhouse night. He told us the story.
Yeah, that was funny.
He drove a Cobra and he won the whole thing. He's the only one in history.
Legends were in that race.
Legends were in that race. And he said in the middle of the night, he'd be driving and he'd have to pull over the side of the road, and his navigator would sleep on a bench, and Dennis would sleep in the Cobra.
With his feet.
With his feet like
hanging
across, up, yeah.
And he's big, he's 6'3",
He's a
6'4".
tall dude. So this car was built by him. So these get built in a factory in South Africa. They're licensed by Shelby. They're a licensed product. There's a sticker on the window. And then they come over here as rollers, and then the rest of the car is built out, engine, transmission, miscellaneous, to get it rolling on the street. And so that's what Dennis did. Anyway, we're gonna have some fun in this car. We were gonna do a video on it today and drive it and stuff, but we're gonna let Ian finish what he's doing. And then, yeah, they'll blind people as we're going down the street. It'll be so shiny. All right, let's talk to Ian more about, Ian, you wanna show him a couple things of how this process looks, how this works, all this stuff?
So what I'm doing here is I'm just taping over the fasteners for the leather tonneau cover. This car comes with a leather cover that wraps all the way up. You see the grommets, wraps all the way around the mirror, has a nice cutout for the steering wheel, and completely seals the driver's cabin off if you get stuck in inclement weather or have to park the car outside. So one of the things I like to do on these cars is to just tape off these nibs so that I can buff right up to them without potentially yanking on my pad, damaging the nibs. And when you pull it off, you just have a beautiful, clean black nib. Some of the cars have a chromed stainless, but it's just one little detail that I like to do. So I just spent some time in here and I just use a small machine. And you see, just mindful of the edges of where the buffer goes, get to it as close as I can, and then I follow through with a larger 5-inch machine to get the bulk of the area. So that's just it. When someone talks about a multiple stage correction, they're often using a really aggressive cutting product the first time, and then they're going to graduate to a medium to remove all the coarseness that the first product may have added to the paint, and then they'll go to a third stage, which is going to be an ultra fine, to then finish off to that mirror finish. The product that I'm using right now, given the fact that this is a new car with a newer paint job, I'm typically able to do it as a single stage. The product's got a really deep cut. I think it goes down to about 1500 grit sandpaper and then finishes off to an ultra high polish. So I would just do it more than once if I didn't get everything out the first time like you saw here. And I think I've pretty much gotten this whole patch to where it needs to be. It's looking pretty good.
One thing we did not touch on yet, why do we ceramic coat? That's a great question. Why do we paint correct? Why do we ceramic coat?
All right, so the real benefits to ceramic coating are going to be ease of maintenance and overall protection to keep the car safe from environmental threats. It's not scratch proof. There's the common misconception that it's fireproof.
Yeah, it's not PPF.
It's not PPF.
Right.
Some people will throw something on the car, light it on fire. It's a myth. I feel that all I do is debunk these myths and try to explain to people what ceramic is for. And it is literally just to keep the car clean, to keep the car protected. The coating that I apply is thick. It's going to have some scratch resistance.
Right.
It's going to have some chip protection. But ultimately, it's going to make the car look dripping wet at all times. It's going to be almost equivalent to 9 or 10 more coats of clear on the paint to give you that rich look. It's going to take the metallic and it's going to completely magnify the metallic.
Definitely does that.
It adds a ton of life to any color and depth. When you go to clean the car, you've experienced
That's where it
dirt
shines from an ownership perspective.
Right. It doesn't have a surface to stick to because essentially the urethane clear coat on your car is porous. So what this does is it goes and levels out the clear coat, causing a perfectly slick surface, giving you what's called hydrophobic. Hydrophobic means that there's no surface tension for water to stick to, which is why it beads up and it runs off.
If you're looking to get ceramic paint correction, he's a great guy to give a call to. We'll put a link to some of your info in there, email address, home address, all that stuff.
Blood type, social security number, take it all.
We'll dox him in the video. Yeah. Thank you for staying tuned. I mean, this is cool when we have someone that's as professional and as like passionate about what you do. It's really cool to get to talk to you and educate people on this stuff.
I love what I do, that's for sure.
I know. But anyway, great having you guys again, and we got some more cool stuff for you, so stay tuned.